Oh, it didn't throw my intro in there. Why does it say use this as an intro if it's not going to let me use it as an intro? Hold on.
Shooter ready.
Yep.
Shooter ready. Stand by. Shooter ready. Stand by. Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. Shooter ready. Stand by. Ready. Stand by.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Midwest Savage, and this is the Shooter Are You Ready podcast. As always, I don't know why I took you off the screen. I'm going to right back on. I have my co-host Paul, Ricaroni and Cheese, with me today.
We are
Paul,
back.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today?
I'm here. So, not bad.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. Somebody's dream. But we are here to discuss Winter KCON that we just came back from last week. While it's still fresh in our heads, while we're still angry, while we're still happy, still upset, still joyful, fresh in our minds still. I forgot some stuff. I had to write a lot of stuff down.
Yeah, same.
We did have our boy Jeff with us, but he had to step out. So much love to Jeff, wherever you are. If you're listening to this a week later, we love you, buddy.
He's out there working hard.
He's out there, listening to Rush. He's a working man. But Paul, Winter KCON.
Yes.
We're gonna get down to brass tacks here because that's what this episode's about. We're talking about shooting. We're not talking about the food we had there. We'll talk about that later. I got a Waffle House story to share with people. And Paul, have you heard the Waffle House story yet?
I don't think I have, no.
Oh, dude, you're in for a good one. This is a good one. Me and Jeff had an experience at the Waffle House.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's always an experience, the Waffle House, but this one was just fantastic. Because I don't normally get to stop at a Waffle House as much as some people do because they're not local to my area. So when you drive by one on the highway, you pull over for a good time. Anyways, Winter KCON was last week. What was the date, Paul? Saturday?
18th and 19th of
18th
January.
and 19th of January. And we survived. We're back. No black toes, no black fingers, no frostbite anywhere. We made it. It was cold. Let's say Saturday was what, 20s? Low 30, maybe?
Yeah, somewhere around in there. We had some sun on Saturday that we weren't getting on Sunday. There was a little bit of wind. So probably with the wind chill, we were mid-teens, somewhere in that neck of the woods. Sunday was brutal. It was a lot worse.
Sunday was a bitch. Sunday was windy. There was no sun. I think I had the sun touch my face 3 times for a total of 2 whole minutes maybe on Sunday. We woke up, it was 11 degrees outside, and then when I opened the door, the wind blew the door open to the bunkhouse we were staying in, and I think with the wind, it was definitely in the negatives.
Yep.
And when you're starting at 8 in the morning, it's the sun that should be there has no time to warm anything up if it was there. So Sunday was brutal. Saturday wasn't the best, but definitely better than Sunday was. But like I said, we survived. We made it back. We have stories to tell. We have things to share with everybody listening and or watching. Which reminds me, if you're listening, please go ahead and subscribe on the Spotify or the Apple Music or whatever podcast app you are using to listen to this to. That helps us out. It helps me out. Helps out Paul. And I'd appreciate it if you guys hit subscribe. And on the YouTube, it's down in that corner. Hit subscribe. And then we can do some live Q&As with you people. We just need a couple more subscribers, and then we're going to be wheels rolling on that one. But anyways, I feel we're just get into this right now. I feel I did a lot better than I thought I was going to at KCON, which was good for me, especially Saturday. Saturday more or less than Sunday. I think the weather and the lack of sleep had something to do with how I placed on Sunday. Possibly my bad shooting. But,
so before we get into placements and things like that, let's just kind of do a breakdown of what KCON looked like for this winter match. There were some divisional changes.
Yes.
There was also, I think the divisional changes were probably the biggest changes that people would notice from the outside. While at the event, it was still 6 stages per day with a kind of night event on Saturday as a kicker. We shot all 3. So
like men, like real men.
Yeah.
Calloused hands.
When we got there on Friday, we stayed at the bunkhouse.
Yes, which is fantastic. I must say.
That was very nice. I think that
on
was
site is a bonus.
That was definitely the way to do it.
Because I think summer I was about 20 minutes away.
I was probably about the same. It just made things easier where instead of, hey, safety's at 8,
Yeah.
okay, we kind of have to be like getting up at like 6:30. Now you got to rush the coffee. Then you're driving
Yep.
there. Oh my gosh, am I
Load,
late?
unload,
Yeah,
load
yeah,
again. It takes time. I mean, you're saving easily an hour staying on site, if you ask me. And even
yep.
as we got the email today about Summer KCON, even if the bunk rooms are full, there's that place that rents out RVs. I think I would still do that if I couldn't get a bunk.
I would probably do the same. I thought that the bunkhouse was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was comfortable enough. I
Yeah.
didn't think that it was like a 5-star accommodation, but for
No.
the price, I think that it worked out well.
There was no towels that said Lead Farm embroidered on them in the bathroom. They said, "Don't wipe your dirty ass feet on these towels."
There was
And I
also
was
there were other towels that just had like people's names on them. I don't know if they stayed there before us or
yeah.
if those weren't for us, but
Mine said
there were
Frank.
yours was from. Ooh, I got Dave.
Nice.
It was enough space for 4 people, I think, comfortably to stay there. We were in the bunkhouse where there were literally 2 sets of bunk beds, so 4 beds. I thought the beds were fine. I probably could have been a little bit firmer for me.
Yeah.
The shower was fine. I was really kind of surprised that we actually had hot water just with
I was gonna
everybody that
say
was
that.
staying there and
Yes.
everybody showering at the same time.
I want to see what size
Didn't have an
hot
issue.
water heater that place has, because as soon as I was like, I'm getting in the
Yep.
shower, and you're like, I hope there's hot water left. It didn't even hit me. I was like, there's so many other people staying here, and they've all taken a shower. I was like, dude, if I have to take a lukewarm shower, I'm gonna be pissed.
We also kind of ate out of cans,
Yeah.
and like pre-made
Frozen
stuff.
turkey.
Yep. So and then there was a microwave in the room, and then there was a kind of like a dorm fridge that was in
Yeah.
the room too. And I think that
To
was
be fair,
probably enough.
there is the kitchen area where
Yep.
I feel if I was to bring something else, there's all you got to do is clean up after yourself. There's a full
Yeah.
kitchen downstairs.
If you were to stay there for a couple more days, I think we probably would have run down to the kitchen. Like if we'd spent another night, we would have made like breakfast or something the next morning.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I thought it was clean. It was easy to access. It was quiet. So like even if there was somebody drinking a billion beers next door to us, which there probably was, didn't hear it.
Yeah.
So I would definitely stay back at the bunkhouse.
Yeah. Staying on site is huge. Like I said, it
Yes.
saves so much time. Because
Yeah.
okay, let's say we didn't. Saturday night when we got done shooting at what was it, 10:30? We would have had
maybe even a
we
little
would have
bit
had to
later.
load all our gear into a vehicle,
Mhm.
drive 20-ish minutes, depending on where you find an Airbnb in that area. Because it's not like, I mean, it is, let's be honest, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's one small town just north of there, and I mean small town. I don't even think it has a Casey's. But so you're talking 20 to 40 minute at least to go find lodging somewhere else. Then you unload the vehicle, go to bed, wake up, load the vehicle, get there, unload again. I mean, fuck that. I mean,
Yeah. Now there are a lot of nice Airbnbs in the area. It is kind of Lake of the Ozarks
yeah.
area. So last summer when I stayed with the VC Optics crowd, we stayed at a really nice spot, but it was like parking on a vertical incline.
I heard about this.
The escarpment that kind of went through there made it pretty treacherous enough that I wanted to stay away from locations like that for the wintertime, just in case something were to come up. So
Right.
staying on
So,
site, I would say was pretty top notch.
yeah, that's huge. And like I said, there's full kitchen. We had the sweet little area where we did the makeshift podcast that I'm still in the process of trying to edit and get some good footage out of. Hopefully share that with you people later on. But not a bad place. I mean, it's not like it was freezing cold. It was not like, like you said, the room, 2 bunk beds, 4 people. I think 3 we were comfortable. I think if we would have had a 4th person in there with just as much gear, it would have been a little more stepping over shit in the room.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I did forget my ice pack though in the freezer. I found
I
that out when
forgot.
I went.
I forgot a lot of stuff in the freezer.
Yeah, I forgot that. I realized that when I went to work Monday morning. Like, where's my ice pack for my lunch? What the hell's going on? And
As
I was
long
like,
as you
I'm
don't
getting.
forget that Stanley.
Yeah. Oh no, got the Stanley, dude. And the shout out to Stanley, who's been making thermoses since the Great Depression that hold coffee at a scalding hot temperature for 12 plus hours. Gotta love it. I was utilizing that thing hardcore over the weekend. First day was coffee, then it was tea, but nothing like some warmness, some warm liquid to burn your throat all the way down to your belly to warm you up a little bit in the winter months. Because you felt it going all the way down because it was so hot. I didn't care. I just
Oh yeah.
drank it. I almost wanted to wash my hands in it because they were so cold. But
So want to just how about we just start with Saturday and kind of walk through each stage?
I
You can
tried to
say kind of
write
how we did
down.
there.
You're gonna have to help me here. I'm probably gonna jump out of order, but I have a
Mhm.
list of all the stages. We just went through this before I hit the live button. I know I'm gonna be out of order as far as what we did, but I know the stages,
Mhm.
so we can go from there.
Yeah. I mean, we
Because
started off. Which one do you have us starting off as? Because
I
that's kind of
believe
the
we
only one that
started
I
on
have
the
a little bit.
tires, the 3 tire stage.
Which would what was the name for that one?
I don't remember the names. I'd have to get on the
I
practice
think it was
score.
Ring My Bell was the one. So
Is
stage
that it?
3, bay
Probably because
5.
the if you've ever shot a rifle through a tire, it is a ridiculously echoing, ringing noise that
Yeah.
sucks. So I could see that.
So breakdown for that one, you had one shooting position where you started a spool. You had 5 pieces of steel out there, maybe 80 to 120 yards, kind of all on like the
Yeah,
same
give or take.
plane on the edge of a field. And you engaged all of the targets from the spool. You then moved forward to 2 tires that were kind of on the same. If you think of the bay, where you kind of have like where you start being the beginning of the bay and then the end of the bay being where the targets are at. You're moving towards where the targets are at. But you had 2 tires that were on the same plane, so the same 180-degree line, where you engaged the steel through those, each one. Then you moved forward, you engaged steel through those, then drew your pistol and engaged 5 more steel poppers through the last of the 2 tires.
Right.
Kind of a decent warm up stage.
Yeah, not
If we're
bad.
being
Wasn't
honest,
too crazy to start with.
you could shoot from supported positions. There wasn't a whole lot that was going on necessarily to remember. You just had to make sure there were some people that I think got confused where they didn't want to retreat. They wanted to retreat because the tires were staggered just a little bit. They wanted to go to the front right tire and then come back to the middle 2 tires and then go to the front left tire, which you couldn't do. But otherwise, I did pretty good. I wound up 3rd on this stage with 87% of the total points of the first place shooter. Shooting my M90 and then my LTT Beretta that I've been talking about forever. Both of those ran fine on this one. I'm shooting my M90 suppressed with the Polo K throughout the entirety of this match. I have the M90 on the gas setting 1, and it was functioning great there with some Indian Surplus 5.56. So I did probably about as good as I possibly could on this one. My final time was 166 seconds. First place was 146. So maybe a little bit of fat that was left out there, but I was kind of focused on making hits. How do you think this one went for you, Jamie?
I don't think I did terrible. I'm looking at my practice score right now just so I can be honest with everybody here about how I did because I'm an honest man. I am not a fantastic gunnist. No, wait, that's not a word. Gunnist. I'm not the best at competition, but I am trying. I am definitely improving from where I was last year.
I think the word
So
you were shooting for was just shooter.
probably.
I mean, at least you didn't.
I was
You
trying to
didn't.
sound smarter than just saying,
Yeah.
I shoot a gun. But
Yeah. We're just getting back. I'm the first analysis therapist. Oh, what
yeah.
would that come out to be? Oh, you know.
Okay, so ring my bell. Let's see. I know I didn't do great on this one. I was pretty holy shit, I'm still scrolling. Oh my god, I did 36 on that one. That was not a good intro for me. That was not a good intro.
And all the scores that I'm going to talk about are going to be overall. Breaking
Yeah, that's
breaking
what I got.
down by division, I think you can get a little bit more down into like brass tacks, but
Right.
we'll talk more about the divisions here in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was the tires were intimidating. I was using a rifle, which I say this almost every time in like every video of competition and every time we talk about competition, I was totally going against everything I said. And this is a rifle that I did use last year in a different caliber. So I guess it's not the same rifle. It's the same furniture. It's like the same exact setup. I just swapped furniture from one rifle caliber to another because last year I did this all in 5.56. This year I started off with 7.62, and I probably took this rifle out 2 times before this, maybe 3. I sighted it in, I took it out, shot some stuff. I was like, okay, this EOTech's not bad. It's on. I can hit targets from here to here. And then I think I did like a last minute make sure it's all sighted in before I left town. But other than that, on me for not being 100% comfortable with the rifle. I probably could have done better if I would have gave myself more time, but that's not how I get down. I'm a spur of the moment kind of man. And it shows when you get 36th place. So that's on me. But not a bad stage like you said to start off. It wasn't like there was anything too intense on it. It was straightforward. Start here, shoot here, shoot here, shoot here. You're done.
Mhm. A
So
little bit of rifle, a little bit of
yeah,
pistol. At least you can kind of know where your stuff is gonna
right.
gonna be
I
when you
parred
get there.
out as soon as I touched my pistol, and a lot of people parred out on this stage.
Yeah, I think. Hold on, let me go
I
back
didn't even get to
here.
shoot off a round, which upset me because I've been working on my pistol religiously. This isn't a pistol I just grabbed last week. I've been putting in the reps. I've been dry firing. I've been trying to drastically improve on my pistol, which I think showed at this competition that I have been practicing with it.
Mhm.
But we'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about a stage I actually got to shoot it at.
Of the 75 shooters that shot this stage on Saturday and Sunday, only 5 managed to finish within part time.
Yeah, see, I don't feel bad at all then.
Yeah.
So not bad, not bad. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I know what stage this was. Never mind. I'm trying to remember what the next one was, but I totally remember now. Not happy about it.
Yeah, next stage is going to be the kind of quintessential KCON 600-yard steal.
Yeah,
For this one, you started off pretty far back in the bay
yeah,
itself, and you were shooting through kind of a jailhouse window with vertical
right. With the
bars on it.
bars.
Yeah. And then once you were done shooting from there, you ran forward to a roof prop that it was a little bit taller than like your kind of quintessential roof prop, kind of a high roof prop. And
Yeah,
then once you were done at the high roof prop, you moved your way over to the low roof prop.
yeah. So this
One of
I'm sorry, but this
you're good.
this stage, just the initial, this is the layout, this is what you do, kind of got in my head, even though I went into this competition trying not to do that with myself, not trying to get inside my own head and work myself up. But this is my third KCON, and the last 2, you attempted to just walk your way out to 600. Okay, you start somewhere, you walk your way out to 600. End of the
Mhm.
stage. Congratulations, high five. This one, you had to go out to 600 3 different times. You had to start from the little jailhouse window. You had to go to the rooftop, then go to the second rooftop, and manage to get. I don't remember how many targets it was. What was there? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, 6, 7 targets all the way out to 600.
So there were 5. There were 5 and 5. So there'd
5
be
and 5.
9. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was a task because at this point I told myself, okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to get all these. So I'm going to start off and see if I can find the 600 right off the bat on this EOTech. Because I've never shot 600 with 7.62. The other 2 years I've been to KCON, it was a 5.56. And so I knew I had to drastically raise my dot and go a little bit higher than I would with the 2.23. But I wasn't able to get it on the first one. So I just ran to the first rooftop, shot what I could, ran to the third rooftop, shot what I could. Didn't do too hot on this because I got in my head about 45%, which I wanted to stay at 0 while getting into my head. So it wasn't the greatest stage for me, I would say. I feel like if I would have picked it up a little bit on this stage and not worried so much, this would have been better overall for me. I mean, granted, that's That just sounds stupid. If I would have done better in this stage, I would have done better overall. I mean, that's
If things were different, things would be
yeah.
different. You're
If I
absolutely
would have
right.
shot better, I would have been. Oh, actually, no, I took 14th. 14th
Which
out of
isn't bad.
70 something, 70 something
This
people. So
this
I'm not
ate
that
a lot
upset.
of people's lunch
Yeah.
for this one.
So actually, now that I look at it, I don't even think I looked at the score for this stage. 14th out of 72 people.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually not mad about that. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to do better, but I definitely thought I was doing a lot worse than that. So
Yeah. I
not
thought
bad.
you went in with the stage plan, you executed the stage plan. I think there was a lot of good that kind of came out of this one.
Yeah, I tried to game it as much as because I've heard it from many of people before in competition. There's certain targets you know are going to give you a problem. Move on.
Mhm.
Don't spend too much time trying to get that one target where you're going to get X amount of FTNs on the others because you're too focused on this. That's why, like, from that first shooting position, I was like, just see if you can hit the 600. If not, shoot the close targets and move. And that's kind of the game plan I went with. I wasn't going to try to spend too much time because like, there's 3 different spots you had to go to, and I wasn't going to spend half the time on the first one. That's just
Right.
silly. So it comes to the point to where you almost have to know this isn't happening. Keep moving, you know, because yeah, it sucks. You want to hit them all, but you're really just hurting yourself trying to focus on one shot too long because then you're going to end up having 10 missed shots instead of moving up on those other 9. You know what I'm saying? You
Oh
get
yeah.
it, dude. You were there.
Yeah, and we saw quite a few people that kind of came in with a similar stage plan of I don't want to waste all my ammo and time shooting out to the 600 when
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't have like a known dope or anything like that. And the 600 was really kind of almost impossible, especially if somebody was shooting 5.56 to make calls.
Right.
Like
Oh, it was
to correct your
impossible
own shooting.
regardless. At least in
Yeah.
summertime, there's leaves and stuff hanging off the trees and like grass. I mean, there was still some dead grass around there, but there
Mhm.
was just, I guess, what we could say more foliage behind the targets that you would see move, I guess, if you were to be left, right, or above a target. Whereas
Right.
now it's just sticks because it's dead of winter. Everything's dead. So it was the only way you could really get a call is if you were shooting low because you would see snow jump up. Other than
Yeah.
that, if you're left, right, or high, you had no clue what was going on.
I did really well in this one. I wound up placing 5th. I probably could have done a little bit better if I just trusted my dope. I went out the week beforehand to a local range and knew exactly where I needed to hit in order to hit at 600. I was shooting at about quarter-inch steel targets. Not quarter-inch, excuse me. Quarter-sized steel targets.
It was a
Quarter-inch
quarter
would
inch.
be
You get it, Paul.
ridiculous. Yeah, no way. But it was kind of windy, so I went around and said, well, I'm going to hold a little bit further right than I normally would, and took a couple of shots, no hits. And I was like, well, should probably just go back to the dope that I know. Went back, hit right away.
Right.
And then I pretty much just ran it throughout there. Part out on the third stage, the third prop, it was very icy. I think if I'd been hustling a little bit more, probably could have got a couple more in there, but didn't want to risk falling on the clock. It was kind of my only concern with that one. But otherwise, I don't know. 600, it's definitely unique. It's not something that you're necessarily going to shoot every place else, but just kind of a normal stage. There
Right.
wasn't anything too super unique about it. Next up, we had Rusty's Revenge, which had some
I was just
right
looking at
hand,
my
left hand
score.
shooting.
That one I've just seen it. I think I took 12th.
You took 10th.
10th, yeah, 10th.
Yeah.
I actually like that because a lot of people, this is where practicing what you, I wouldn't even say I've practiced this. I've just done it a few times in other competitions. It was there's barrels on the left and right side. You got the orange fence little hallway. It's basically like I guess you would say it was a vertical H because there's 2 walls you can't shoot through, a hallway you walk through, and you can either go left or right at the end. But there was barrels to the left, barrels to the right. You start to the left, you have to shoot on the left shoulder. You have to, and shoot left-handed, I guess. And then you run to the right, you shoot right-handed, and then you obviously clear, make safe, run down the little hallway, and you knock down the little pistol knockdown plates with your pistol. So I was excited about this because I was like, I can get to use my pistol here. I've been wanting to use this pistol. And I'm not terrible I mean, I'm definitely not great. But I know how to shoot left-handed because I've done it handful of times. So it's not like a big surprise like it was to some people. Like, I've never shot left-handed. I'm like, you need to practice, dude. Because I remember I was there like a year ago. I've never shot left-handed, but I've done it enough times now to where it's like this isn't my favorite thing to do, but I know I can do it.
I think Aurora 2 gun is the one that kind of forced us to
Yeah.
start looking at shooting left-handed a little bit more. Um, I took a class recently where it was like, well, what are you going to do? Like if your right hand's broken or, kind of or. So I got a little bit more time shooting all left-handed, but this was also more of what I would call traditional stage design.
Yeah. Nothing
there,
crazy on this one at all.
yeah, yeah. You had a couple steel targets that were kind of back there, maybe at 30 yards, maybe, and they were full size Zip 6 steels. So, shooting left-handed, shooting right-handed, not that big of a deal. We also shot this one at night. Same
Yeah.
thing, kind of whatever. It was a stage. That's kind of the best way that I can describe it.
There was nothing there's nothing that screamed KCON, if you will, because KCON's known
Yeah.
for having ridiculously kind of more physical stages. This is more of a have you ever done this stage, which is something you should do if you haven't, if you're listening and you've never shot left-handed with your rifle, if you've never shouldered anything. I mean, if you're left-handed and you've done it, we get it. You don't get props for that. But if you're left-handed and you've never shot right-handed, I suggest you at least try it a couple times just to get a feel for it. Because if you go to a competition like we did in Aurora and they're like, these are left-hand targets, these are right-hand targets, it takes, if you've done it before, it's not as intimidating as, let's say, never doing it. But that goes with everything. You're not scared to ride a bicycle if you've fallen off it 3 times. You're scared to
I
fall the
think
4th time, but
there's a YouTuber out there that I like, Kit Badger. He did a whole year where he just said, I'm going to explore the other strong side. So right eye dominant right-handed shooter, both rifle and pistol. And he just said, I'm doing everything on the other side. And he did that for a year. And I think, okay, that level of commitment, fascinating on YouTube. If you're doing that and you come up to me and you say that you're doing that on a match, I'm just going to assume you're a little insufferable. But I mean, I like to see it where it's, hey, here's what I want to do because I, kind of train up that way. But you don't have to put in, I think, that much in order to get decent on the other side. But yeah, next one up that we had was Bay 11, which is all the way at the end, the jungle run. This one, you had 2 different shooting positions where you engaged 3 pieces of steel non-sequentially on one side of kind of your field of vision, and then on the other side there were 2 pieces of steel that were hanging. So typically what people were doing is they would go 1 2 3 1 2 3 and then 4 5 4 5. You just couldn't double tap the steel. This one was a fun one. I did pretty well in this one. I took second. My raw time was actually pretty good, 52:45 for this one.
But what was the raw time, Paul?
But what was the raw time? No penalties on this one, so the raw time stood. But this is one that with this range and this match, they are now doing it where it is, what if we have some semi-occluded targets somewhere out there in the woods? They're spray painted orange, or at least the hangers that they are on are spray painted orange. And then it's on you to identify those targets and hit them. With kind of no leaves on the trees, this one was definitely a lot simpler than what it would have been in the summertime. We shot this one at night too. At night, it was really hard. We both shot under white light, cast a lot of shadows down there. Even when you knew where they were at, it was a little challenging.
It's shooting at night, especially. I mean, I think we had one guy on the squad who had nods and was not using them. I could be wrong, but shooting at night is, I mean, if you're using white light, you're throwing some light in front of your rifle. It's not hard, but in like a woodland area, like you said, casting a lot of shadows, you could be aiming dead at the target, turn your light on, and the shadows are just affecting you. And it's like, even if you just move over a few inches, each way, it's a drastic change shooting at night through the woods. I mean, I think that made it more of a challenge, was all the shadows from the trees that you were getting.
Oh yeah.
Which the challenge is nice. I enjoyed it. I liked the night shoots. I mean, I did terrible at this stage, but I thought I did better than I thought I was going to. Oh no, I did terrible at this stage in the day. I think I actually did better at it at night. Maybe I'm a night shooter. Who knows?
Could be.
Maybe I just need to start. Maybe that's my new niche now. Nighttime, Midwest Savage.
Hey, you do most of your best work in the dark.
I do. I sleep really well.
Yeah, sleep hard.
Yeah.
I think you wound up 23rd on this one.
Yeah, wasn't too happy about that, but I think that was the pre-lunch stage. At that point, the cold was setting in. Everybody. Oh no, that was right after lunch. That was after lunch. That's what messed me up. That was after I was. What did we eat for lunch the first day? That was after I was full of
brisket,
barbecue, mac and cheese. Shout out to let's talk about Matt here and how he gets down. I said something to him. I said, because they catered lunch there for the cost of your ticket. And I said, so where's the chicken breast, Matt? Where's the green beans? Like, where's the fresh fruit? And he says, I don't do that here. He's like, not only do I make this physically hard, but I'm going to make it emotionally and mentally hard on you by feeding you a stomach full of greasy, fat food. Because we had brisket, we had pulled pork, we had macaroni and cheese. I think there was green beans. Was it green beans?
Cornbread.
Yeah. You got to get your vegetable in. No, cornbread was the next day with the.
Oh, that's right.
Chili.
Because it was cornbread and chili. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually really good cornbread too.
If you're on a diet, like I'm trying to be, and you're trying to eat healthy, because I had turkey wraps like pre-made in my lunch, and I should have just stuck with those. KCON's not the place for you unless you bring your own food. Matt's gonna cater some greasy, delicious, fattening food. It's gonna taste wonderful, but it might slow you down on the stage you have to shoot after.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna that was because I had brisket and I had a sandwich and I had a heaping spoonful of mac and cheese and a ton of green beans, and I probably downed 3 bottles of water while we were in there, because dehydration is a thing in the dead of winter. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. They're full of shit.
It just sucks it out of you, even if you're not sweating.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. But that's has nothing to do with my shooting. That was 100% why I shot bad that stage. Full of mac and cheese, and it was thick mac and cheese. It wasn't no blue box bullshit. It was hefty. I think Matt bent his spoon getting me a ladle of it out of there.
It was 50% Elmer's glue. Stick to your ribs, mac and cheese.
Yeah, it did. It was thick, dude.
So we got done with the jungle run. Anything else that you want to talk about on that one? I thought it was another kind of straightforward stage.
Yeah, it was straightforward. It was, you're running. Here's the tree. Shoot those targets to your right. Move up. Shoot these targets to your right. Shoot them targets to your left. Move up to this tree. Shoot targets to your left. It was pretty straightforward. I like it because I liked the natural arm bend in the one tree. That's nice. I mean, unless you're a short fella. But I kind of like it. I kind of like the jungle stage. I wish it was a little bit more, because I think in summer you shot down the trail. There was like a 300 shot down the trail.
Yeah, there was.
And I was expecting that.
I liked it as well. I think that's one of the unique things about this range. And there's a couple there's I think 3 stages that we shoot that we're kind of run through the jungle-esque. We'll get to kind of the next 2 when we talk about tomorrow. Okay. Excuse me, when we talk about Sunday. But we get done there, then we have to hump it all the way back to Bay 1, which is on the other side of the range.
Right.
Which I don't know how long the range is. Hold on. I'm going to see. If you want to talk about Bay 1, I just want to see.
You can't Google it because you can't see past the ladder stage.
Oh, really?
It's all woods. I tried looking at the top of it today to map out what stages we did. And once you get to the ladder scaffolding stage, you can't really tell how far back you go for 11 and 12.
Okay. Well, I will.
I mean, you can go from there and just throw an extra 300 feet in there, I would guess. Especially for the 12th stage. But while you're trying to figure that out, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the 4th stage of the day, which would have been, I think it was called Getting Her Done. I'm trying to look at my practice score and maintain this screen and right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, multitasking. This was called Get and Go. Get and Go. This is the one. Beeper goes off. You take the heavy ammo can, run it out to, I don't know, what was that 50, 100 feet in front of you? It wasn't that far.
Yeah,
50
really
feet.
wasn't.
50 feet. 50 feet in front of you. Set the ammo can down. Come back. Get your rifle. Shoot the steel targets that were 100 and change-ish away. and then set the rifle down, come back, get the ammo can. Or no, am I saying it wrong? What the hell did you have to? No, I'm saying it right. Get the
Mhm.
second ammo can, bring it out there, come back. Then you had to shoot the targets again, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, and then you had to shoot the steel targets that were 100-ish away again. And then after that, you had to go get the ammo cans and bring them back. I
Both of
believe,
them.
yeah. Then you had to go get both the ammo cans and bring them back to the table. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it was the dreaded Texas Death Star. I don't know if that's the exact name for it. That's just what I've been calling it. But if you've ever shot a Texas Star, which are challenging enough, imagine this one on a pendulum that swings back and forth as it's rotating. So that was interesting. And this is where, Paul, my newfound pistol skills came into play. I should have uploaded this clip because I thought this other one I have ready to share is my best stage. But I think, no, the one I uploaded is my best stage. We'll watch that in a little bit. But I took 4th place out of this one.
Nice.
And my pistol skills were superb. I think there's 6 plates to hit, right? 6 plates to hit on the star. And then you have to
Yeah,
shoot
because
1 to
there's an
engage it.
actuator and then there's the actual
Right.
star itself, which has 5.
So I had to shoot the actuator twice because I watched this video to see if I was as good at the pistol as I thought I was.
Mhm.
I had to shoot the actuator twice to drop the star to get it swinging left to right. So that leaves me with 8 rounds. And I knocked 5 of the plates off with my 8 rounds and then had to reload 1 extra round to get the last plate off. So in 11 rounds, I maintained my 6, 7, 8 shots. I missed 3 times, which to me is huge
Yeah.
because I think that's pretty damn good if you've ever shot one of those things. I am Barry Horowitzing myself, and I know you don't know who that is, but that is a pro wrestler from the 80s. He was very much a jobber. He never had mainstream success, but his gimmick was he would pat himself on the back when he did something good. And I felt like Barry Horowitz that day because I was patting myself on the back after that one. And that's why I took 4th place, Paul.
Sometimes that's what you have to do, though. If
Dude.
nobody else is going to give you the props that you need, you're the one that needs to step in.
Oh, 5th place. My bad. Sorry, Gum. I didn't mean to take your spotlight there. But yeah, 5th place. And for me, I mean, that's huge, dude. I mean, let's
And
be honest.
that was a slightly physical.
Oh yeah, with the cans and everything. Those are heavy.
Yeah, and
Those got to be 30 pounds at least. 30 pound, 30, 40 pound cans.
yeah, probably up in there because it's just a 50 cal ammo can that is
Yeah.
filled with cement. But doing that and you have all your gear on, the ground was also muddy
yeah.
in some spots where it was like steal your shoe muddy, and
Yeah.
then in other spots it was still frozen.
This
In
was
the frozen area, it was where you had to run with those ammo cans.
let's see. This was the 4th stage of the day. So this was after
this
lunch.
would've-
So this was we're probably saying this is pushing 2 o'clock.
I think this would have been our 5th stage of the day.
Okay, so we're pushing 3. So the warmth of the Saturday has came and went. So any ice that was melting or snow that was melting that day has melted. So like you said, there was no straight path to run with these ammo cans because it was a chunk of ice. So you had to run around into either this mud puddle or run around to this semi mud / ice puddle. So but then like everything was starting to freeze because it was getting back to dropping below freezing temperatures. Because when we went to reset the Texas Star, my hands kept freezing to it. The mud that would get on the plates from falling down was frozen onto the plates. We had a screwdriver, had to keep digging ice out to reset the thing. It was it's not the witching hour. There's got to be an hour for when everything freezes. The freezing hour doesn't sound as cool, but it was
dusk-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, it was getting to be more gray. The sun was definitely going down.
Oh yeah.
But you had those targets that were out there. I think the targets were smaller at summer. They were kind of
You think so?
full-size gong. Yeah, I think so. There were full-size gongs for this one, and I just remembered there being like 1 or 2 smaller targets that were out there. But I wound up winning this one. I smoked the Texas Star.
Yeah,
that
you did.
was I think I did that in like 8 shots. So just getting out of the gate fast there allowed me to finish pretty hard. My main goal, number 1, was to not fall down. Number 2 was to try to keep my heart rate down. So I was breathing pretty hard as I was going back and forth, mainly just because I wanted to be able to hold that when I was down to take the rifle shot. Took a knee for the rifle. I don't think I dropped a shot for the rifle. So kind of everything came together to get the stage win on this one.
Yeah. And see, that's why I think that stage would have been different for me at summer, possible weather pending. Because if that stage wasn't full of slush, mud, and ice, I definitely would have dropped prone to make those shots. That's just me.
Yeah, and going to prone on this one, I think, is a double-edged sword because then you're kind of burping your way out of it because you have to burpee, I should say,
Yeah.
because you're going to prone, you're shooting, and then you're getting up, and then you're having to run with it. A knee was enough for me to kind of get the stabilization that I needed, and was able to throw in kind of a hasty sling. Not that I really needed it.
I don't drop knees anymore. I did that one time. I think it was a year ago when you guys were at Winter K-Con and I was in Aurora shooting.
Yeah.
I dropped to a knee to shoot through a VTAC, and like right in between my kneecap and like my shin where like your little knee meets at, I kneeled right down onto a casing, which was right onto like a lump of frozen ground, and it bruised my knee, and my knee was jacked for like a week and a half. And ever since then, I'm like, I don't drop knees. Either I'm full down or I'm standing. Or maybe I need to get knee pads. Who knows?
I wear the tactical distributor kind of cry knockoffs that have knee pads that are built into them.
Actually,
and they work.
Yeah, now that we mentioned that, my mother, Jody, wonderful woman.
Shout out.
I don't know if she's listening. She might be. Love you, Mom. But for Christmas, she actually did buy me these tactical pants that I threw on my list that have the inserts. I think she got me like 3 pairs of those. And so don't know why the hell I wasn't wearing those. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, summer definitely going to be rocking the pants with the knee pads in them. I'm gonna have to make a note of that. It's not that I didn't forget them, Mom, but I did. But anyways,
last stage of Saturday was they call it the positive ID. You started out where you had 20 seconds in order to look at the back of targets, and there were 3 pictures on each one of 4 targets. So
we got to lay it out a little
memorize
better than that, Paul. Okay, imagine you're at a squared off bay. Okay, at the back of that bay you have 4 steel targets, or was there 5?
There was 5.
All right, back of the bay, 100 yards away, there's 5 steel targets. Okay, at the big front of the bay, probably 20 feet into the bay, there's 2 silhouettes, cardboard silhouettes to your right, 2 to your left, each of them with a 5-gallon bucket behind them. On the back of those targets where you can't see from where you're standing, there was random pictures of items: a grenade, a badge, a sawed-off shotgun that looked like more of a pirate gun that confused the shit out of me my first stage, my first run on there. But just random pictures. So they gave you 20 seconds to start off to go look at random pictures, and you had to make it back to the table before your 20 seconds because you weren't just going to be allowed to stand out there and mentally take pictures of everything. You had to kind of make it quick. But then once the timer went off after your 20 seconds, you flip a block and it says the name of one of the pictures. Then you have to take the block, put it behind the corresponding target bucket, and then run back, pick up your rifle, make your shots, and continue until you par out, because everybody fucking parred out on this because there was like 12 pitchers, maybe. I don't remember. There was a lot. 4, 8. Yeah. There was more than that. I think there was like, or was there 3 on each one? 3 or 4
there were
on each
3
one.
on each one.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was, but I want to see how I did on that, because I think I did terrible, but everybody's like, oh man, you didn't do that bad. And I'm like, oh really? Because I felt like shit. Jamie, on that stage, I got, still scrolling, damn it. Oh my god, I'm still scrolling. 29th.
Yeah, I wound up at 20th. The shooting part of it wasn't actually that hard.
No, it was the ID.
Buckets, the buckets were pretty far apart, and you had to run back and forth in order to get them. I was hustling for it, but I still wound up getting almost 600 seconds of penalty time, which is kind of in the middle of the pack for everybody. The most was 1080, and then the fastest time still had 120 seconds of penalties. So that's you have to get through 8 iterations. They were able to make it through 6 while positively IDing everything. So that was, I mean, more power to them. They must have been hustling and have a pretty good memory in order to make that make that happen. But that was
Yeah, right.
a tough stage. I'm still noodling on it. I like the idea of the stage. This is one that really I think is controversial. It's not that I dislike the design, it's the idea that everyone is going to par out and who's going to par out the least.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. I need to sit with this one a little bit just before I really come out either for or against it, or I'm probably going to wind somewhere in the middle. But I thought it was a good use of the space. It
Great
was
use of
just
space.
not something that I was that I'm necessarily fully on board with.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was basically a game of memory with targets in it, is how I saw it.
But
And
the memory didn't influence like what you were shooting at all. It was just like, can you put the right brick in the right bucket?
yeah.
Okay, now go shoot a couple of targets.
Yeah, I guess. And I think that would put more of a mental strain on you, focused on your time, and that was what was forcing inaccuracy, if anything, was the hurry up and shoot. I got to get another brick because I've only got 2 right now. So I
Yeah.
can see the stress situation on there and why it's a stage. I like to shoot. I would have liked to shoot more. But anyways,
Yeah, the only kind of caveat I'd put onto that is I didn't find the stage stressful because I walked up and Moisha was just like, yeah, nobody has gotten through this.
yeah,
Everybody pars out. And I was just like, oh, all right.
this
Well, if
sounds
it's
like
like,
fun.
yeah, well, if it was one of those where it's like, hey, 80% of people par out.
Yeah,
Okay, I want to be in that 20% that doesn't. So I'm going to be like, that's where my heart rate kind of gets going because I know that it's possible. But if it's like, hey, yeah, just do your best. All right.
yeah, I'll see
Well,
what I
here
can
we
do.
go. Yeah. Okay. And I mean, it's not like I didn't try on this. I don't want
Right,
to make it seem like, well, I just threw in the towel and gave up. Like I'd probably tried as best as I possibly could on this one, and I probably could have done a little bit better had I focused in more.
right,
But I don't know. There were a couple of stages. The 600-yard stage, I don't think anybody got through. This one, and then I think that was it. I think there were 2 stages where it was like, hey, probably not possible unless
right.
you're, like if you make through this, congratulations, you get first place.
Yeah,
Kind of stuff like that. So I don't necessarily know how I feel about that. I've shot some other matches where it is, hey, this stage is going to take 180 seconds. You're essentially taking large sacks of flour or flour-like substance and moving them between 2 piles and then engaging as you're, you move one, come back, shoot some targets, move another one. Once the target array is
right.
done, then you stop. And you just do that until 180 seconds have gone through. And then it is, okay, how many sacks did you move? Okay, you moved 4. That's 10 seconds off your total time. So
Yeah,
it's more of a everybody gets 180. But then it is, okay, now how much time do you kind of get off of it?
right.
And that was another one that I had to take a second to kind of like think about, do I like this? Do I not like this? There was one guy who was just a huge kind of corn-fed fuck who just like literally did like 20 of them and then was just like, oh shit, all right, here's your time of negative 20 seconds, bonsoir.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, well, why does he get to be 6'4" and 265 pounds and be a linebacker for Iowa? Why don't but then I was like, well, you know what,
'Cause he loves the
I still
buffet,
shot
dude.
okay. Dude, my favorite French word, buffet. My
Get
favorite
The French
my
didn't do
favorite
much, but
Spanish word is burrito.
yeah, the French didn't do much, but when they came out with the buffet, I was like,
Dude.
okay, they're onto something.
And the croissant, but it took Burger King to perfect that into the
Yeah,
sandwich. Let me tell
Burger
you.
King brought that into the American culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Paul, overall Saturday, you did great. You came in 3rd.
I did. And I kind of felt a little bit bitchy because I did shoot well throughout the course of the weekend. So I was like, who am I to kind of complain about what I would call a very good score.
Yeah,
I
you did
felt
great. You
like
were on fire, dude.
I was shooting good. Rifle was running really well. My penalties were a little bit higher than I wanted them to be. If you take out
Reaching.
that PID stage, my penalties go down to like 90. So the bottom kind of drops out from there. But final score, I had 91% of the winner score, which that keeps you in the conversation
Yeah,
at least.
100%.
So I think that Saturday went pretty well.
Yeah, I took 10th, which to some people, whatever. You don't even get a participation trophy or participation
You're
trophy.
still screaming.
10 out of, we'll say, 74 active. I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. As far as like I said, as far as I've come from KCons, I think the first year I was in the 60s, so like we'll say the 50% mark of getting there. Last year I think, where was I last year? I want to say in the 20s, but I don't want to sit here and talk like I was better than I thought I was. Let me look it up here just so that I'm not spitting out false information. Last year, Jamie was, oh yeah, I guess I was 35, not 20s, 35, which is twice as good as I was the first year. So I went from 65, 35 to 10.
Yeah.
That's progression.
Yeah.
That is
I
progression.
mean, if you continue on with this, you're gonna win. You're gonna win summer this year.
I'd like to at least get third. I'd like to be in top 5. Top 5, that would be a happy ride home for me.
Hell
And
yeah.
I'm definitely trying. I'm trying to get there. I've been putting in a lot of, I think, not necessarily all of it, but I think a majority of what I feel made me do good was how much better at the pistol I was than I was last year. If I could improve on my rifle a little bit, I think I'd be good. But even people who saw me last year said, you're definitely better with the pistol. I could tell from how many less shots I was taking at targets, because like the knockdown plates on the Rusty's Revenge, I think I missed one.
Yep.
Like, what was there, 12 targets? So I took 13 shots. The Texas Star, where there's 6, 7 targets, I took 11, but would say 8 targets because I had hit that plate twice. I mean, I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling good about my pistol. I've definitely improved because honestly, the last 2 KCons was 4 days until KCon. I better use this pistol. And I would go, for real, I would take like a box of 50 out to the range and like shoot a target a couple times. Yeah, that's on the paper. That's got to be good enough. So I'm definitely, and I love my new pistol and I love shooting it. And I plan on doing more 2-gun this year and just getting even better with it, hopefully by May. So when I come back to Summer KCon, I am rip roaring and ready.
I think the other thing that benefited you well just from watching you weren't dropping your rifle as much. If you go back and you watch some of the footage
Yeah.
that you've shot over the last couple of years, it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna shoot these 2 targets here, bang bang.
Yeah, I dropped a
Oh, there's
lot.
another 2 that were over here. All right,
Yeah.
now I have to like re-shoulder everything in order to make that happen.
Now,
And I just wasn't seeing that.
okay, see, and okay, part of the reason why I make YouTube videos is because I want to be noticed. I want people to know who I am. All right. I've said this before. Childhood divorce. I want attention. But honestly, I started doing it even before I was making YouTube videos just to see how goofy I looked shooting something, to see what I could improve on. And let me tell you, making a video of me doing something with a rifle and then having to sit up for 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night, editing to get that video out on Sunday, I notice a lot of things I do and a lot of things to improve on. And then the last 6 months, I've noticed I drop the rifle way too much, and I'm trying to not do that at all. I'm trying to keep it at least at a 45 so that it's not completely down. It's saving me some time, and I'm trying to focus more on bringing the dot to where I want to shoot instead of searching around once I lock eyes on the dot. And that also dry fire helps with that too. Just
Yeah, let your eyes lead your dot to the target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been improving greatly on that. So target acquisition is a thing I've been improving on. And it's also a guy I know who also makes YouTube content. Many people may know him. He said when I was first getting into his zone of noticing my videos, said you can watch his videos and see him slowly progressing into a better shooter. And I
Mhm.
feel like if I was to watch my first KCON video and then watch what I did over last weekend, there's definite improvement in how I maneuver and work the rifle and shoot targets from when I
So
first went.
I actually did that. And I would say that the biggest change is your movement is like confident, where
Yeah.
it's like, I'm done with this shooting position. I need to be going to the next one. Well,
Yeah.
some of your earlier videos are kind
Uh,
of like, I
yeah.
could be done shooting here,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I hit everything here or
And you
not.
know what? I noticed that a lot. There's a lot of old videos I'll watch where it's like, say there's 3 targets. I'll bust off some shots and I stop and I'll do like
Mhm.
a scan. Like, is that everything? Is that everything? Okay, move. Where now I'm like, after the last one, done, move. You
Yeah.
know, it's a little more, I would say maybe in the pre-walk of stages, I am better at making a game plan in my head and not
Yep.
listening to what anybody else is saying they're doing because it kind of fucks with what I just thought of.
Mhm.
It's like I go in there, okay, you start left, and I'll bring up this video. I I gotta bring up this video. It was the best stage I did the whole time, but I had a game plan in there, and I feel like it worked great for me. And I'll let you know what it was. But it's more or less of getting a game plan in my head, saying it to myself a few times, sticking to it, and then just walking away from everybody else. Like there was times where there were still people walking around pointing at shit, and I'm just walking away. Like
Yeah.
my plan in my head is set. I don't want to hear anything anybody else says. I'm walking away, and I will sit back here. And I also tried not to watch anybody else. That was another
Mm.
thing I heard
Okay.
on little Steve Anderson podcast is don't watch other people shoot. I mean, I watch some people, I'll notice things like I watch you, I watch Jeff because you were on fire, and Jeff's my buddy. I watch, I mean, I'll glance at a couple other people, but it's for instance, like say you're running a stage and there's 8 targets and everybody is having trouble on target 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's gonna be in my head, fuck, 4 and 5 are gonna be hard targets.
Yep.
You know, so when I go up there, all I'm thinking about is target 4 and 5 are going to be hard. Whereas if I don't pay attention to everybody else struggling on 4 and 5, to me, it's just 8 targets.
Right.
You know, it's not in my head that these are going to be rough. These are going to be rough. So that's
No,
another thing.
I think that's a great call out where it is, hey, if I do the same thing. This guy's cruising, he's got I can obviously see that he's got a stage plan. And if he's going kind of before me, I'll see what he does.
Yeah.
But I don't know if somebody's having a dumpster fire of a day, don't rub off on me, dude.
Yeah.
You could take that right out, put it on over there. You're on the left side of the bay now. This is for the right side of the bay. Right side
Yeah.
of the bay is for winners.
For closers only.
Closers get to stand on the right side of the bay.
That's right, dude. But yeah, so Saturday, we did the night shoot. This was where time management was a son of a bitch because we got Saturday night shoot was supposed to start at 6 p.m. We didn't get done shooting until 5:45. And then
Yeah.
they were gracious enough to say we're pushing night shoot to 6:30. Some shooters just got done, which was our squad. I think we had the biggest squad.
Yep.
Which seems to happen to me every time I go shoot. Oh, squad 3, you guys got the biggest squad. I'm like, it's always the squad I'm on is the biggest squad. But regardless, we had 45 minutes, go to the room. I had a frozen turkey sandwich. Why was it frozen, you may ask? Because I put the lunch meat in the back of the mini fridge, and when I went to pull it out to make a sandwich, it was all one block of frozen turkey. So I ran it under some hot water for about 10 seconds, just enough to peel some frozen pieces off, rolled it in a low carb wrap with some mustard, and it was still frozen. So I was legit biting into icicles with slices of turkey and pickles. And I think I took 2 of those down, which I made on the bed before we ran back out there and got shooting in 30 minutes. So
Yeah,
it was a quick turnaround. It was a very quick turnaround.
I choked down one of those Hillshire Farm kind of charcuterie
Yeah.
things where it's just
The
kind of
grown
like
up
it's got
Lunchable.
meat, cheese,
Yeah.
and a little bit of bread, and I was just like, "All right, this is what we got to do now." But
Yeah.
it was an incredibly quick turnaround, and then there was only 3 stages for the night stages. They were all kind of copies of the day stages. We kind of hit on those earlier.
Yeah.
You
I'm
shot
just
really,
gonna
really well at the night stages.
Yeah, I
I
felt
mean,
I did
kind of anything
much
that you
better.
want to talk about for that?
I'm just gonna run down real quick the night stages we did again at night. One was the jungle, one was the H left right barrel hallway one.
Rusty's
and
Revenge. Yeah.
yeah, and then the other one we didn't. That was our first stage on Sunday, which wasn't anything too special. It was basically running through the woods finding targets, just not as deep
Yeah.
as the jungle. But for night shoot, Paul, you took third. I took fourth. I feel like I did very well in the night shoot. Granted,
Mhm.
there was still only how many people in the night shoot? I'm trying to look here. I hate practice score. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but like
Yeah.
anytime you hit back to go to like the menu you were just looking at previously, it sends you
It
back
takes
to
it
the
all the
main
way out
menu.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
32 shooters at night. And I
Yep.
took fourth. Happy with that.
A couple of those shooters also, there were a lot of people that quit
Yeah.
that were signed up to either shoot the night and said, "Hey, no, I'm beat up," and it was really
Yeah.
cold.
Oh yeah.
Or it was, "Hey, I shot one,
I'm
I'm good."
done. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
the only highlight I really want to touch on in the night stage is the Rusty's Revenge stage that we had to shoot again.
Mhm.
Was that stage 4 or was that the jungle? 1, 3, and 4.
That was 4. Well, depends on what the bays are.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I'm gonna have to go through here, and I think it'll tell you if you go under the night stage thing, which I'm not because I went back to the main menu and it took me to Saturday. Show hide options.
Bay 3, Bay 9, Bay 11. So
Stage
Bay
4 was run through
3,
the jungle.
yeah, Bay 3 was called Balls to the Wall, which was on kind of the earlier jungle run. If you were at the summer KCON, that was the climbing where you had to go up over the wall that we were doing that on.
Yeah.
Bay 9 left right, which was essentially nighttime Rusty's Revenge, which was almost the exact same thing as during the day. And then Bay 11 was the same run through the jungle where you were engaging 3 pieces of steel on kind of the right hand side of your vision, and then 2 pieces of steel on the left hand side of your vision non-sequentially. So not too
Okay.
big of changes.
No.
I thought we've already talked about run through the jungle. I thought that was great. Left to right.
I think I took second in that one.
Uh, let's see. You did. Yep.
Yeah.
You crushed it.
Overall. Not even in the division. Overall.
Yeah.
And then the
150 150 flat.
jungle I did third. And you know what was funny? Let's talk about this. I got the new pistol. I'm shooting the
Mhm.
Walther PDP. And our stage RO, I can't remember his name. Great guy. He knows me. We like to BS a little bit. As I'm shooting this night stage, I do the left targets with the rifle. I do the right targets with the rifle. I move inwards to the little enclosed area with the pistol. And there's like 2.5, 3 spots where you are supposed to, stand to maintain and hit all these targets if you want. I mean, you can move to as many spots as you want, but you can get them all in 3. I think I was approaching the second spot. I was aiming down this plate. I shot it, and he goes, "Is that the Walther PDP?" And I just kind of like shift to my left and aim at the other target, and I shot it, and I turn over my right shoulder. Yeah. And then I step over a couple more spots. I aim down another target, knock down that plate, and then he's like, "How do you like it?" And then once again, I stop, I aim over to this other target, look over my left shoulder, and I'm like, "It's pretty cool." And then I shoot the target, and it was just I thought it was comical. I wish I could have recorded at night because I thought that was kind of hilarious that I'm getting asked questions about my pistol and answering them while still maintaining second place. Right? Is that what I said?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I just thought that was hilarious.
I had a similar thing happen to me. I forget which stage. It might have been on the same stage, but I was shooting the rifle and somebody goes, "Is that the Polo K?" I was just like, "Yeah, it is." He was like, "That sounds really good." And I was like, "Yeah, listen to this." And then I fired off a couple more rounds. He was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, I thought I don't know because I think I can't remember who it was. Somebody was it Jeff? I think he asked him, "Is that a Canic?" And I was like, he was asking me about my pistol, like mid shoot, like not even after the stage. I'm like still going. He's like, "Is that a PDP?" Yeah. I don't know. It was just hilarious to me. It was
It's rough to be an RO sometimes and you just get bored.
yeah. Oh, I bet.
And man, there's
Especially when
sometimes
it's like 4 degrees outside at
yeah,
night.
there's sometimes where somebody walks up and I'm just like, "Oh shit, I've never seen this before. What is that?"
Yeah.
And then like they're trying to load and make ready and like come up with their stage plan, and I'm just kind of like, hold on, what's in here? Like try to look around.
Mind if I hold that? Can I hold
get it.
that for a second?
Yeah, hey man,
You
be
got
careful. I
chimp
just
flag
run
in
this
there?
real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about I just shoot this one for you? You
That's
okay getting a
funny.
shitty score?
Right? Yeah. So that was Saturday, and
So
we got done at like 10:30.
we did, and then we all you, Jeff, myself, yourself, all pretty much just ran back to the room and just started loading mags.
Yeah, ran back, loaded mags. I ate frozen turkey
Yep.
again with
Yep.
rice.
Choked down some food, threw on
Yeah.
some. Who was the guy? It's not
Meat Canyon, dude.
Meat
Watching
Canyon.
Meat Canyon.
Okay, yeah.
And then we
watching Meat
started
Canyon,
watching. First, it was Meat Canyon videos.
and then it was kids
Shout
falling
out
off
to Papa
bikes.
Meat. It was who?
Kids falling off bikes.
No, that was we went from Meat Canyon to the bearded food guy.
Oh yeah, the guy that was just going around eating big old sandwiches.
Yeah, and then it was a compilation of kids falling off.
Kids falling off bikes. Fuck, I can watch kids fall off bikes all day. I don't even care.
Dude, that is YouTube gold. If you're ever bored and you just need something in the background just to like take up some, just make some noise
Yeah.
and like give you an occasional laugh when you pay attention. Kids falling off bikes compilations is
I'm also-
fantastic.
It was just one of those things too where I was like, do you really think that you're going to defeat gravity in this situation? It's been undefeated for history. It's
Yeah.
like 44 billion and oh. I
love
mean,
kids falling off bikes is the greatest because it takes them a second to realize, wait a
Yeah.
minute, I'm not pedaling anymore.
And
I'm
when
on
they
the
hit
ground. Am I hurt?
when they hit and you can hear the like wind come out of them and it kind of just like a little squeak toy thing, it's like
That's a good fall. That's
yeah.
a good fall.
Yeah.
So Sunday
Or
night,
when they're screaming as they're coming down. Like
That's
they
a-
just know
that
that they're
bike's
going to
way
beef
too
it.
big. That
It's
bike's
just,
way too big.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one where you got to get on it and somebody pushes you to start off. That's when you know that bike is way too big and you don't need to be on that one.
And then they come off the bike seat and they credit card themselves trying to put their feet on either side, and they still can't stop because they're used to like a bike pedaling
Oh.
backwards, and then they get all squirrely, the speed wobbles. Yeah, man. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Kids falling off bikes, dude. I'm supposed to edit a video after this, but I'm debating on if I'm even going to put a video up for Sunday because I know the internet is going to be flooded with SHOT Show content. So
I want to talk a little bit about SHOT Show. Just like two things kind of right at the end, but let's get through Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saturday night, 10:30, loaded mags, 8 sandwiches, went to bed around 11ish, closer to
Yep.
midnight. I woke up at 4 a.m. with a headache, couldn't go back to bed. Jeff's alarm went off around 6. My alarm went off a little after 6, and I laid there until it was absolutely time for me to get dressed and get out of the room. And I think
was a
Jeff
rough
gave me
morning.
a Tylenol. I think Jeff gave me some Tylenol or BC headache powder or something. I don't remember.
I required Jeff to roll me out, so I got one of those little like foam roller things for my
Oh, yeah.
calves, and that was a big lifesaver on Sunday.
Those things are huge.
Yeah, so
Not
and then
physically, but like
he gave me some
emotionally.
IB. Yeah,
Yeah.
he gave me some ibuprofen as well.
Props out to
So,
Jeff for supporting the group with the ibuprofen.
dudes supporting dudes. You kind of need a pill guy. If you're gonna build a squad, you need the pill guy.
You need a guy who's making sure everybody's not, and who's
Yep.
the squad's walking around anti-inflamed.
Yeah, but different than the hydration homie.
Yeah, you need a hydration homie.
Everybody's
You need the anti-inflation homie. You need the
Yep.
food homie.
Yep.
You need the I got extra ammo homie,
Mm-hmm.
and then you need the funny guy.
Yep.
That's a squad of 5.
Squad. If we're going to 6s, I think you need that stage guy, the one where he can just kind of like suss out where he's like, don't forget about this target.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
forget about this one over here.
Hey,
Don't
there's
forget
one
about this
hiding
one
behind the
over here."
barrel over there.
Yeah, somebody who's actually read the rules and knows how to listen.
Yeah,
So
I
this
think
is
our
gonna be
squad
your-
is very mismatched with you and me both being in there because we're both like the food and the funny guy.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, if we have Tommy, he's the food guy.
Tommy's the guy. Yeah, Tommy's the guy
Yeah.
who brings the food.
Yeah.
And man, does he have smoked meats. Anyways, Sunday, first stage of the day, Sunday. That was the wall, right? I don't know the names of these. These are just what I wrote down. But I believe that was our
I
first
honestly
stage.
can't remember.
I believe
No,
that was our first
it was
stage.
the
one
suit
with the wall.
yourself because the balls
It
for the
was?
wobbles are second to last one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Suit yourself was kind of the wobble stage where you had one shooting position that was a flat platform that was connected at 4 different ends.
Right.
4 different ends. 4 edges.
Edges?
I don't know. 90
Yeah.
degree angles. I'm falling
Corners,
apart
4
here.
corners.
4 corners. Damn. How do you forget a word like corner?
Yeah, check me out, dude. Big vocabulary.
Yeah, here I am talking about like trying to bring in the 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But you shot 5 steel targets from that. You then got off of that, went to
The
a
tire.
tire, shot 5 more steel targets. You then went to a third kind of spring prop, and that
Yeah.
one actually had a lot of movement to it. You shot the same 5 steel rifle targets. Then at the beginning, before the buzzer went off, you showed us you drew an ace of whatever, and that suit of whatever you drew was the one that you did not need to shoot.
Yeah.
Then you had to engage 3 pistol targets.
Let's
40
talk about that.
yards? 30
40
yards?
yard. We'll say 40. That was about 4. I think that's what Zach was saying.
Okay.
So from the springboard platform, which is like a 4x4 piece of wood with like 2 car springs under it. So it's shaky, it's wobbly. It's a little bit different than the first wobbly stage or first wobbly board, but the 4 pistol targets at the end of the stage you had to shoot. Like Paul said, there was 4 suits. I drew a diamond. I shoot everything but the diamond. These things were probably 6-inch shaped, I would say, at the most. That diamond was terribly small. That's why I was happy I drew it. But so there's 4 suits. You had your club, your diamond, your spade. The hell's the other one? Club, diamond, spade,
Heart.
Oh yeah, the heart. Duh. I was like, what am I not thinking of here? But I think I did 15th on that stage.
Nice.
Maybe. I think. I don't know. I just looked and my phone shut off already. But I feel the only reason I got 15th on that stage is because last year the first board with the wires in the 4 corners was a motherfucker. I could not hold still. So I cleared that one. Like I think I just watched it and it was like the same as last year. It took like half of my time of the whole stage from what I ran it. So if I ran it like 120, it probably took me 50 seconds just to get through that first one. But I made it through that, made it through the tire, made it through the springboard. And I think once again, my pistol skills helped me get a little bit further ahead on the board here because I was able to shoot 2 out of those 3 targets I was supposed to shoot at the end. I think I went for my second mag and timed out right there when I grabbed my second mag. So I didn't get the last target. But I mean, 6-inch targets with a pistol at 40 yards.
It's a tough shot.
It's, I was happy that I got 2 out of 3.
I'm gonna do my pat myself on my
Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, I'm gonna bury this one. I did manage to finish it. Finished out 10th. First shot with the pistol on the club was a hit. Thought I knew where I needed to hold. Was completely wrong. It was just kind of a luck of the draw. So I was shooting high on a lot of them. Go to my second mag, and then I was like, well, I'm going to have to hold about a half target, full target low. And when I did that, everything worked out. So this was a challenging stage.
I felt like I aimed just on the top of them. But also, like, what do I know? Because I'm moving the whole time. Like, it was not easy holding a red dot on wherever you think you're going to aim, where that thing's going off once you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So probably pure luck on my end.
Out of the all of the shooters, so now we're down to 55 shooters for this stage on Sunday. So we've lost about 20 people.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Only 14 managed to do it without parring out.
Damn it. See, all I needed was one more target, dude. That pisses me off. One more damn target. And you know what, though? It's kind of a good thing I didn't get that target, and I don't know if I would have, because when I went to get rid of my empty mag, I dropped it, and it went right outside of my dump pouch, and it was off of the platform. So even if I was to reload and take that shot, I would have had to have got that in 1 second. Or just one shot, and it still would have costed me, what's that, 30 seconds? If you don't retain a mag? Yeah. So I don't even know if that would have been worth it. What is it for not shooting a target?
I think the same.
Yeah, see,
I'm not sure.
Either way, it's almost like I cleared it because I dropped the mag.
Yeah.
So regardless, that would have been my score. It probably would have actually been worse if I had more time, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things where you can, I think, look back and maybe say, hey, how could I have gamed this? What would my time have been if it was X, Y, or Z? But I don't know. It came out at the end. Next one is one that you were screaming on. You finished second in the Husker Du.
Let me pull that up. We're going to watch this one.
We got the footy?
I believe so. This is
beautiful.
This is the Husker Du stage.
Can we full screen this, B? I don't think that we need the 2 talking heads here.
I believe
guys from the Muppets that are up in the beautiful.
I don't know their names, but I love them. The 2 guys. This is terrible. Yeah. All right. So this is Husker Du, and this is where I felt my game plan went strong on this one. Okay. there's, what is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, maybe 7 little doorways with 2 windows on each side. Each window has either a circle, a triangle, or a square. Okay. So as you start, you flip over one of these 3 blocks. It will give you said circle, triangle, and or square. And so as I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the layout of all the circles and the squares. And it's like, if you start with triangle, you go through and you shoot through every triangle window. You hit was there 2 steel targets in the back?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So there's 2 steel targets in the back. You have to shoot through a porthole through each window with your desired shape. As I'm looking at this, like, you start with triangle, you shoot all the triangles, set your rifle down, come back, flip another block, run back, get your rifle, start shooting through windows until all the blocks are done. And that's how you clear the stage. I'm looking at the shapes and I noticed the last 2 windows on the left, one is a circle, one is a square. So I just told myself in my head, if you flip a triangle, run right, because the last one on the right, I think, was a triangle. Or I just knew there was a circle and a square all the way to the left. I think that's how I told myself in my head, but that's just how I did it. I said, because if I ended up running to the right, you're going to set your rifle down and have to move over a door instead of it being right there next to the window you needed. That was kind of my thinking behind it, if that makes any sense whatsoever, how I explained it. But I just want to watch this because I felt like I did great, even though I felt I could have got first, but we'll discuss that after the clip's done.
Oh, yeah.
Brad is in the hole, last shooter. Got any questions, Jamie?
Oh, what'd I do?
R&R.
No, it's not playing. Man, see, I go through all this hard work trying to bring this up. All right, here, hold on. I'll stop sharing it. I'll go back to share it again. But damn it, I was really hoping to show this video because I'm so damn proud of it.
And this is the first time that we've really tried to show a video here, so
At least on this,
see how this goes.
It's gonna go. It's gonna go. Add to stream. Play. Maybe
Brad is in the hole, last shooter. Got any questions, Jamie?
No, it's still messing up.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right, it ain't gonna work. Regardless, I smoked that stage. I did fantastic. But it seemed as I picked up my second shape, which was a triangle, I flipped it. I ran back to the window. I shot through my first window, which was a triangle. And then there's a stutter. You'll see it whenever I upload the Winter KCon video. I stutter for like a second because the RO, my guy John Roche, fantastic mustache, he says that was a triangle. I legit stopped moving my feet. I stopped moving my feet. I turn around and I go, what? He says that was a triangle. And I'm standing there, like, not even moving. And I go, I know. And he's like, well, I'm just telling you. And then I'm like, start moving. Like, I told myself, start moving. And I just start moving to the next window. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. And I just like second guessed myself on the second triangle after shooting the targets. Like, am I right? Was that a triangle? And so I kept going to every triangle, went back, grabbed a circle or square, whatever was my last one, finished the stage. And I did very good on that stage. Best stage of the whole competition for me, which I think hold on, Husker.
Second place?
Second place. Finished second place. John Roche was first. And I feel if he didn't make me skip up by talking to me, what do he have on me? 10 seconds? Yes, he had like 10 seconds on me.
Less than 10 seconds on
Less than 10 seconds.
9.2.
I feel our conversation, I'm definitely going to have to time it out, like from when he says triangle and I stop moving my feet until I start moving again. Maybe he didn't have time. I don't think he had me for 10 seconds. He might have had me for a strong 7 or 8. And I feel like that was the stutter step that could have sent me forward. And I wish I would have seen him shoot it because I would have loved to tell him, John, that was a square, But even Moisha said, hey, if you feel the RO did something that made you mess up on the stage, he's like, you can definitely reshoot this stage if you want. And I had a moment where I thought in my head, hell yeah, I want to reshoot it because I was on fire here. But then I go back to the first KCon where I had a chance to reshoot a stage and I DQ'd myself on that stage. So I was like, no, I take the score I was given. There's no redos. I'll take that fantastic score that I have and hope that it does something good for me. And I still maintained second place on that stage. So I was happy about that. And I'm kind of upset that video didn't play. I should have guessed. Dude, it took me forever to upload it. It was telling me my SD card was corrupted, and then I had to do something else, and then I had to get down my iPad and re-upload it. It was a pain in the ass.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I also wish that it would have played, not only because you shot that really, really well and were probably snubbed out of first place. And if there's one thing that I like more than anything else in the world is being enraged,
yeah.
especially when I have no cat or dog in this fight. But it was great positional work. You got in and out of position really, really well. I did not do very good on this one. I essentially got to the start, immediately had malfunctioned my rifle, double feed, had to clear that. Still managed to get done. I wound up 24th on it. Fun, challenging stage. I personally really, really enjoyed it. As you described at the beginning, kind of working left to right. It was good. This is a good win for you. Second place for
Yeah.
this, because this is one where it's like almost like a fundamental of shooting, getting in and out of position, moving back and forth. There were a lot of kind of small optic cuts.
Yep.
So you had to like cant your rifle. Sometimes you were kind of like occluded a little bit in order to make these hits. So one of those stages that looks really easy, but is actually pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the portholes were not ideal
Mm-hmm.
on any stretch of imagination. You had like little squares where you're like, I can see this, but then there's like 45-degree, like 1-inch slits. And then there's just odd shapes to where like literally your head's at like a 90-degree angle, just trying to see. And there was even a few shots. I talked to you and Jeff about this after the fact, to where like my red dot's so high compared to my barrel,
Mm-hmm.
my height over bore, to where it was, I'm lining up my red dot on the wood, telling myself that's where my target is, and pulling the trigger and amazingly hearing ping. And I was like, nice, that worked out. And I'm glad that it did, because that would have been embarrassing if it didn't. I'm gonna try this one more time just because I'm so fucking upset. I just watched it in Windows Media Player and it worked. It's not gonna work again. Watch.
Oh, come on. Come
Any
on.
questions, Jimmy?
Nope. See, it
Nope.
stops right there. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It was just playing in my media player. Whatever. Anyways, I did fantastic that stage. If you don't believe me, check out the Midwest Savage Winter KCON video that will either be up, or you might have watched it by now, or it'll be up maybe the same day this is uploaded. Just look for it. Just look for it.
Oh yeah, man. Next one. Death
Yeah,
from
I'm sorry.
above.
Yeah, Death from Above. Now this is one. It was basically the same setup as the year previous.
Yep.
And I feel I'd shot that with just a red dot with my 103, and I found where to hit the plates, and I was doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made it all the way. I'm not sure if I cleared the pistol, or I know I didn't clear the pistol, but I think I might have got some shots off, or I might have just grabbed the pistol last year and then the buzzer went off. I can't remember. I'd have to watch the video. But this year, as I was reaching for the pistol, the buzzer went off, because I was getting it pretty good shooting through the ladder. And then as soon as I got on the platform, I just was not able to hit anything. And it was dry. It was more frustrating than anything up there, because I was like, I was just hitting these. Like, I'm only another 3 feet off from where I was just shooting. Why is this not happening? So that was kind of frustrating. And I was using 223. Last year was 7.62.
Definitely a challenging stage.
Yeah.
Just in terms of target presentations. I was shooting a 1 to 8 Strike Eagle, Vortex, LPVO.
And you had it all the way at 8?
I did have it at 8.
Cheater.
And 100%. Yeah. That's who I am. But get on the ladder. I've been doing a lot of positional work kind of in some of the matches that I've been doing, and then just what's kind of allowed at a lot of the ranges that I shoot at. So, I mean, ram the mag essentially as hard as I can into that ladder, take up a good position behind it. I go essentially 10 for 10 on the steel targets there, cruising, hop up. I actually adjust my stock on the clock because I couldn't get the right eye relief. When I was on the ladder, I had it like one in too far, but then was getting a weird vignette. So I kicked it one more out, got down. I think I dropped one shot on that one. And then for the pistol, I dropped one. But otherwise, I got the stage win on this one pretty handily. Final time
on fire on this one.
This was probably as good as I can be as a shooter.
Okay.
Just in terms of ability.
Since you cleared this one, I'm going to ask you this question because I discussed this with Moisha and I want to see your take on it. Okay, shooting from the ladder.
Mhm.
Okay. Where were you aiming on, let's say, the biggest gong?
Dead center.
Okay. When you were up top, were you aiming dead center, or were you a little bit lower?
Dead center. Yeah,
Okay.
same hold.
I have an 800 number calling me. Hold on. I'm not even going to pause this podcast. We're going to see who this is real quick.
Well,
Hello?
I'll keep talking about kind of what I'm doing here. But yeah, traditionally I wouldn't it can change a little bit. One thing that I have on my rifle is I put like a little strip of tape so that I make sure that my cheek is kind of aligned no matter where I'm at with the same spot. It's kind of a new shooter way of doing things, but it was one that it just kind of gives me a repeatable cheek weld every single time. But yeah, and then with the pistol, it was just make sure that you were making your hits. And I held dead center with the dot for the pistol. I think there were some other folks that were saying they either had to hold high or a little bit below the plate. You're shooting at a pretty acute angle as you're coming down on some of these plates, and they were probably 5-inch flip down steel targets. Nothing too crazy or impressive. Needed to hit those. There were 5 on one side, and then 5 on the other side of the scaffolding. But I did really, really well, so it's probably shouldn't come as any surprise. I'm going to say that I really enjoyed this stage, but it is just different, kind of getting up onto a scaffolding. Especially climbing a ladder with kit on is pretty hard. But yeah, I don't know, crushed it.
You were amazing on this. I'm sorry, I had my bank calling me about fraud protection, because when there's a $5 charge from Alexa to my bank account, they raise an eyebrow. But if I am consistently gambling on raffles at $50 a ticket, they see no issue with that. So
What are we buying? What is Alexa buying?
I get something in my house, this Alexa thing, and I think it's the music or something I play through it. I don't know. I have
Oh.
so many auto things that go out that I'm not even sure if I know what the hell they are. It's terrible. But it happens every month, so I'm not worried about $5.
Hey, dollars and pounds make sense in something. I don't know.
Yeah, that
There's
makes
something
sense.
that our Big John is trying to convince me where he's like, this is a saying that I say all the time. And I was like, I've never heard you say that before. But now he tries to force it into like every conversation. And he's like, mind the cents and dollars, and they become pounds or something. And but he never says this. And then he literally just invented it. He's like, this is gonna be my thing. And it never makes
This
sense.
is America, Jack. We don't do pounds. We're dollar bills here.
I don't know, but kind of closing out on Sunday here.
Right.
We've got a final
Deep
jungle run.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Valley of Death, which is essentially the same thing as the other one. You're just now actually down in the valley. You move to shooting position 1. You engage 3 pieces of steel, which is on the right-hand side of kind of like a fire road that's been cut. And then you turn and you can kind of shoot in the direction that you're moving. And you have two positions there. I don't even know where I wound up on this one. I don't think
Neither
that
do
I did
I. I'm
very
looking
good.
right now. I didn't do good Sunday, period.
I got 20th. This one was tough. This was right before lunch, and it was just I didn't want to have to hike all the way back here.
Oh yeah,
just to
this is
shoot
the
it
one where
again.
we committed
Yeah,
to shoot an extra stage instead of breaking for lunch, because it would have been break for lunch, walk all the way back. Let's
shoot it,
just in
and then
imaginary
go all the way
numbers.
back.
Imaginary numbers. Okay, finish this stage, walk a mile that way, and then walk a mile back.
So I did it. It's about a quarter mile.
Yeah.
From
That's
end
it?
to end. Yeah, it's
That
really not
doesn't
that
seem
far.
right. No way. It's got to be
It's a
the
lot of
road being so
verticality.
shitty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so shoot this stage, walk a quarter mile back to the house, eat, walk a quarter mile back here, shoot the stage, and then walk damn near a quarter mile back to the first stage, or the next stage you have to shoot. Whereas we would have just stayed one more stage that was literally right next to us, and then we could have walked all the way back to the clubhouse, and the last stages were much closer to the clubhouse than walking all the way back to the jungle, which made sense to me. But the hunger pains were hitting us.
It was a rough one.
People were falling down. Shit was getting crazy. People were getting angry, hangry.
We were starting to have some rifles fail at this point in time too on the squad. feel pretty bad for some of the guys where it was, firing pins and double
Oh yeah, that's
feeds and
yeah.
mag issues, and on some
It's
pretty
dude.
expensive rifles too. I don't feel that it's necessarily. I don't
No.
own the rifles, so I don't think that it's necessarily our place to call out what those rifles were. But it was. I felt bad for a lot of the shooters that were out there,
Yeah.
where it was like, hey, you're doing fine. It's just your rifle's failing you.
Yeah. And I mean, if there's any conditions to fail a rifle, it's negative temperatures where your guns are legitly have been outside in the elements and that
Yep.
steel is cold, it is getting brittle. If it's not treated properly, if you have any makeshift or cheap-ish parts on there, shit's gonna fail. It's
Yeah.
cold.
I saw a few optic mounts fail.
Yeah. It was so cold to the
Improperly
point.
Loctited down.
Yeah, it was so cold to the point to where I had 8 hot hands in my hoodie. Because that day I was layered up with the base layer was the Peter Pan thermal little pants, the leggings, a pair of traditional waffle pattern long johns, a
Mhm.
pair of insulated Carhartt pants, and then I had t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, sun shirt with the hood, another long sleeve shirt, hoodie, and 8 hot hands in my hoodie pocket. But it was to the point to where, I mean, all these stages were parred out at 180. It was to the point to where I would keep my hands in my pockets at all times unless I was shooting. But once I was shooting, by the time I was halfway done with any stage, my fingers were hurting. It was so cold.
Oh yeah.
Granted, I
Yeah.
had gloves on. Probably, I mean, we're not talking ridiculously thick winter gloves. We're talking like some, OJ Simpson isotoners. Just some
Deer
thin.
schooners,
Yeah, just
flight
not
gloves,
even.
or
Mine
whatever it
weren't
is.
even leather. They were just like them gardening gloves with like the rubber on the bottom. So like the wind just cuts right through the top of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was cold. If shit was gonna fail, it was gonna be on Sunday. Anybody who oils a rifle, that shit was freezing up on people. I see a couple people with bolt issues freezing
Yep.
up on the back. I
A couple
seen
of trigger issues where the trigger
yeah
wouldn't reset.
triggers. Yep, yeah, I seen that. I seen safeties not even engaging because oil inside the rifle and that thing would just like freeze, like
Mhm.
either in the up and or down position. So if you're going to Winter KCON, clean your rifle weeks before. Make sure you sight in, make sure you get everything good in at least a week before. Like deep clean it, hit it with the air compressor, blow as much oil off of that thing as you can, and get some good synthetic grease that doesn't freeze. I think the shit I use, the Super Lube, is mm, uh like negative 40 or 50 degrees or something until it starts to gel up on you. And I haven't used like a straight oil in anything in a while. I'm a grease man.
My daddy makes grease.
Yeah.
Oh, what does grease go into? Lots of things. Lipsticks, car
Um,
products.
what was I thinking of with Grease now? I don't know, probably something with John Travolta. But
Want to
okay,
finish this? Want to finish anything else on that last stage, or do you want to finish
not
this one
really.
off?
I just no. I didn't even see how bad I did. I'm sure I didn't do great, so I'm not even going to look at the score because Sunday was not my best day. But
Next one up that we've
22nd.
got balls to the wall, which was kind of shoot off some props, run through the woods a little bit, get
Yeah,
to your pistol. I took 14th in this one. I almost parred out. My last pistol shot was essentially at par. But this was one where they had some steel that had fallen down, and they said, "Hey, just double tap
yeah,
one like steel that's like that." And I forgot to do that, so I
yeah.
had 60 seconds penalties on that one, which dropped me down to 14th.
I
You
don't even
took
think I pulled my pistol
24th on
out on
this
that one.
one.
Yeah, I think
It was tough.
another one of them ones. As soon as the pistol was drawn, my buzzer went off, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of
This
here!"
was late enough in the day where we really had the sun in our eyes. Like I was
Oh
taking,
yeah,
I was kind of doing a half pirate to
that
kind
one
of
was
get an eye
brutal.
box.
It was because okay, let's say what stage is this of ours? We got 2 left after this. The rocks and
No,
oh,
we've got
that's it,
balls to the wall, which is our second to last one, and then we have the
right?
rocks, which is one
Okay.
after this one.
So we're shooting a stage where 11 squads. No, how many squads were there total?
Um, I think there was 7.
Okay.
No, there was
So
6. There would have been
we're-
6 squads because everybody was running.
okay, so we're at a stage where 5 squads that day, and well, no, nobody shot that on Sunday or Saturday, right? Everybody shot the same
No.
stage as Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, everybody's shooting at these targets. So you went from a white backdrop with a gray beat up target to a gray beat up target to with a muddy, washed out, no snow left behind it from everybody missing and shrapnel flying off of it target to where you could not see shit on like two of those little plates that you had to hit. And it was ridiculous because I remember standing up and staring at it, and then you'd go to the red dot and you couldn't find it again, and you'd have to stand up and stare at it again. And I was like, this is insane.
They were
But
definitely hard to see.
yes, even with I'll give them the credit of the T post that they were hanging on being orange. I mean, if that
Mhm.
wasn't there, that would have been insanely hard to see.
Yeah,
But like
no way was that happening.
even seeing the T post through your optic or irons, whatever you're using, it was still hard to make out, is that a target or is that dirt or is that a tree? What am I doing
Mhm.
here? And then, I mean, honestly, on that stage, I was taking at least a couple guess shots at that target, just that one to the left, and hoping
I
something would ring.
normally for something like that at these distances, because they really weren't that far, I think everything was probably within 50 yards. At
Yeah,
that distance, I'm not going to any higher than 1 power. Like, I'm just
right.
leaving it at 1. For this one, I was cranking it up there because I needed to
Yeah,
see
I
what
had
I
my
was actually trying to hit
magnifier
at.
on.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
think that I was probably at 4, by the time that I was actually, like, getting to where I needed to go.
right?
But then the next one was our final stage called Overrun. You started shooting at, so there's 4 steel targets that are out there. One was at 100, one was at 200, one was probably at 230, and then another one was at 300. And they were kind of on like 2, so it was like 100 would have been on the left hand cut. Like 200 would have been on the right, 230 would have been on the left, 300 would have been on the
Right.
right, and you can't, yeah, you couldn't double tap them, so you had to go through and kind of
Yeah,
hit every single one of them twice.
non-sequential, I
Yes.
think is the word they were using.
Um, you were shooting off of a log, then you were shooting off of a kind of like
It was a
rock prop, for
yeah,
lack of a better term, and then you had to go back and you had to shoot off of a spool. And sun was definitely in our eyes, tough to call.
yeah.
Just kind of a challenging stage overall. I kind of took a fat shit on this one, and I want to say that I got 26th on this one. You beat me on this one. You took 15th.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Look at
Yep.
me go. Yeah, Paul, stick with me, kid.
Hey,
I'll
what
show
do you think we're doing this for?
I'll show you some shit. Man, I did take 15th, and I felt I
Yeah.
fucking was terrible on that stage.
Yeah, this one was a tough one. I kind of psyched myself out of it. I blew up at the RO at the end, which I shouldn't have done. Wasn't wasn't anything that he was doing. I was just frustrated. I felt that I wasn't getting some calls, but that's just kind of the way that sports go. So, I mean, he's a volunteer. ROing is hard. I apologize to him afterwards, but here in front of everybody,
Words were said.
sorry again. Um, but it was the final stage of Winter KCON 2025.
Oh, yeah, and, it was a match that kicked everybody's ass, dude.
It was tough. I wound up getting 4th on Sunday, 78% of first place's total score. I had 310 seconds of penalties, which is kind of crazy,
Yeah.
all things considered. Definitely should have cut down on this one. There was kind of on Saturday, I would say you kind of didn't have an excuse. You were just going to get penalized no matter what, just with some of those stage designs.
Yeah.
Sunday, you could have shot it clean. So,
Yeah,
4th
that's the thing
place,
that
not exactly where I wanted to be, but still good finish.
yeah, that's the thing that was more frustrating for me after seeing the totals of Sunday was after I saw where I placed Sunday, I think I was 20th or no, I don't remember.
Yep, 20th.
Yeah, 20th on Sunday. I felt I should have done a lot better because I sat there. I mean, I had a 7-8 hour drive back with Jeff, and I'm
Hmm.
thinking about all the stages, and I'm like, none of them were that bad to where I should have placed that low as well as I did Saturday.
Yeah.
And I blamed it on the 4 hours of sleep and just being ridiculously cold. I mean, it made it that much harder for me, I think. But still no excuse for shooting like shit. I could
A
have
lot of
cleaned it up a
people,
little bit.
a lot of people quit on Sunday.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to see like
it was cold, dude.
where's the last person that actually shot all of them? That was Jeff. Brad did. So we were supposed to have 70 shooters that were signed up for Sunday.
I know
It's
we lost at least 20, right?
like in the 50s.
Yeah,
Not even. It's
about
looking like
20.
it's in the high 40s for people who actually shot everything.
Yeah, I mean, there was, like you said, there was a few people who shot a few stages and were like, "Nope, done."
Yeah.
Didn't even stay for lunch.
Want to talk about feedback for the match?
I wish there was hot barrels, like homeless people
Needed some burn
barrels.
barrels that were out
That
there.
would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing to
That
have,
would have
like,
been a lifesaver.
I mean, not every stage, because I'm thinking of the layout, and you can't have them at every stage. There could
No.
have been one. There definitely could have been one at the Texas Star stage, like just
Yep.
to warm up. There could have been
Yeah.
one at the stage with the rock prop. There could have been one at Death from Above. There couldn't have been any in the jungle.
Nope.
But I mean, even if you had those three, I
Yeah.
mean, those
It
are
would have
pretty
made a
far
big difference.
spaced out. It would have made a huge difference. Like shit, even if I was at the stage to the left or the right of the burn barrel, I would have went over there and warmed up until I was like on deck,
Yeah.
or like after you get done, run over there, get the feeling back in your hands a little bit. But other than that, I think there needs to be pink shirts for people who drop out. I think they need a shirt that says I could not survive Winter KCon. And maybe I would get one that said I did survive Winter KCon. I don't know. I'm not asking for much. Other than that, like the trail is brutal there. I broke my cart. I think that maybe I don't even think that's from overloading it. My cart says it can handle like X amount of hundreds of pounds, and there's no way I had that much in there. I think that had to do
Yeah.
with the cold and the rough terrain pushing that thing through. Some of the targets, I get why they don't paint them, because it would be an unfair advantage, like the first squad that's on that stage. And like at that temperature, it'd be a bitch to try to keep paint not freezing in the can. It'd be a
Yeah.
bitch to have to go out there and hey, can you repaint them targets? Well, why'd he get them fresh? When he started, I want fresh ones. You'd have people bitching like that. So I get why they don't do it. Certain targets that are at a certain distance, I feel need to have lights on them instead of
Just for
I'm
calls.
just for calls. I mean, I know
Yeah.
there was a stage. I hit something. I could see it in my optic that I hit it, and I didn't hear anything from the RO. So I waited, and then like I still didn't hear anything. Then I pulled the trigger again and shot it again, and then he called it. I'm not ragging on anybody for it. I know it's a bitch to see. I know the sun wasn't perfect at a certain time of the day there, but just something to try to help out and make things move along a little better, maybe. I mean, those things aren't that
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. I really agree on all counts. I'd like the range to be a little bit more prepared. Like there's just kind of like trash all over the
Yeah.
place. The facilities themselves, like where we slept, fantastic.
Oh, wonderful.
The
Wonderful.
range that you're actually shooting at, like they'll just have like random steel that's kind of like in the area that you could be shooting. And
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like, well, ignore that stuff.
Well, yeah, that was a big thing at the jungle stage. I was like, well, what about them targets over there? And they're like, don't look at those.
Yeah.
Those are for tomorrow.
And
And I'm like,
but they're literally like there's a silhouette here,
Yeah.
and the targets that you're not supposed to shoot are like right
yeah,
behind it.
cover them with a bag or something.
Yeah,
You
or
know,
like
don't even
take them
make them
down,
visible.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Otherwise, I thought Sunday with the amount of people that dropped out, we could have been out of there a lot sooner.
Yeah.
There were squads that had like 2 people shooting
Yeah,
them.
for sure.
And I really felt like there was some missed opportunities to be like, hey, you're done shooting this one, just go on to the next one.
Yeah, instead of waiting for the entire squad. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. I think food was fine. Amenities are fine. The pacing was a little bit off for Sunday. Saturday is what it was. I'm kind of out on the night match now.
Yeah,
I've shot it
done
the last couple of
once.
years.
I felt good about it. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
ended
not.
on a high water mark for me.
Yeah, for me, it's like a 13-hour drive, so I want to shoot as much as I possibly can.
Right.
So, like, I want to shoot the night match for 3 stages and the amount of work that it takes to shoot it.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's like my Sunday is just going to be worse.
Yeah. Oh,
And trying to drive that far is after all of that is just kind of not something that I'm
right.
necessarily interested in doing anymore.
I feel next year, if I mean, I'll probably go to Winter KCon. I
Hmm.
feel I may sign up for the night match, but I also feel like that may be a game time decision on my part. Because I feel like, yeah, it's cool to shoot it, it's there. But if
Yeah.
I'm shooting till fucking late again and I don't get any sleep, all that's doing is hindering my ability to do better on Sunday,
Well, and
honestly.
we were also the last squad to finish shooting during the day. So we
Yeah.
had I mean, we shot for that 30 minutes was literally a snack and load max.
Oh, yeah.
It's not and like maybe sit down for a little bit. Otherwise, we got out there 8:45
Yeah.
and we got done at 11:30. And I also stayed out to make sure that I was out there shooting with RJ. He was the last person to go. Kyle was the last person to go. Like there, and it was like, okay, like I'm gonna walk back in here just because um if you're done shooting and I kind of like the idea of moving with the squad.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's just kind of like what I do. But it's like, hey, I don't want like the last guy to turn around and there's nobody around.
Yeah.
That's not a great feeling. So, I
No,
mean,
I agree with you.
I
And
was out there even later.
I feel like a cock because I did bail, but I
It was
went back to
rough.
my truck. I switched rifles out. I switched ammo out. I had to make everything because I was 7.62 the first day. So then I had to load
Mhm.
that back in the truck, get the 223 out, load all those mags before I went to bed. Put a sling on the rifle. Yeah, I was like, I got to get out of here and get this shit ready for Sunday if I'm gonna get any fucking sleep. And I still didn't get much sleep. So I don't know. Saturday, don't get me wrong, it was fun. I liked it,
Yeah.
but I feel like it just hindered my ability to do better on Sunday.
And I'm gonna bring it up, but because I did so good, I know that some people are gonna call me like, of course you're gonna say this because you placed, third, fourth, or whatever it was. For how difficult Winter KCon is, just for Saturday. And I'm not saying you gotta give away a gun.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a prize.
Yeah, a neck trophy, a plaque, something. I
It
mean, it
doesn't
is
have to be
brutal.
anything huge,
No.
but just like in between the day and the night match, hey, we're gonna do some recognition for the people that shot really well today.
Yeah. You know what you could do,
Um,
honestly, which wouldn't cost you a lot of money? Get one of them KCI 30-round mags. They're cheap. Okay?
mhm,
Just a regular 30-round mag. Etch on it with a laser etcher, second place, Winter KCon. Weld it onto a flat metal plate and give it to me. Thank
yeah,
you. That's all I want. Just
yeah.
something.
I for the cost
Yeah.
of winter.
Yeah.
I think that I'd like to see it. I know that it's historically only been for bragging rights.
Right.
Summer's kind of the premiere. There's a lot that goes on there. And again, I'm not asking there for it to be everything that summer has with the raffle and
Yeah.
everything that goes along with that. But I'd like there to be a little bit.
I think there's got to be something because excuse me, there's so many people who don't go to winter just because of how difficult it is to walk around outside, lug all your gear, shoot when it's that cold out. You don't know if it's going to be snowing. You don't know if you're walking through snow. You don't know how
Yeah.
cold it's going to be. And it's never really been ideal. I know a couple years ago it was in like the low 40s and it wasn't terrible, but
Hmm.
that's still a huge difference from 70, 80-degree weather in the winter or in the summer where the sun's shining and everything's nice. 40-degree day, yeah, that's cool. But if the wind starts blowing, it's in the 20s all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's still winter. It still takes a lot of mental fortitude to push yourself through it and finish the stage. I mean, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't have won anything. Even if they did, just like I said, make some cheap little thing. Here you go. I wouldn't have walked away with anything, but I think it's deserved to weather that storm and come out on top with and still just be like, yeah, here's a handshake. Good job. See you in the summer.
The only other thing is the divisional changes that I've got here to
Oh,
kind of talk about.
I wrote a markup on that too. I have an idea of how it should be changed.
So the divisions for those, it's Deadeye, which is rifle with an optic, pistol with an optic, Gunslinger, which is rifle irons, pistol irons, Marksman, which is rifle optic, pistol irons. And then they have some pro divisions that are out there. Oh,
Yeah.
and then Sharpshooter, which is rifle irons, pistol optic. there's not enough pistol shooting in the match for these divisions to,
Right.
I think, really change any alignment seriously enough
Yeah.
for there to be, to me,
I don't think it
a
should
reason for
be a reason
realignment.
for 2 brackets in a division as
Yeah,
far as pistols. I said I think there's not enough pistol shooting, and it's at a day and age now to where if you are going to a competition and you have a pistol, it's not like it was 6 years ago where pistol optics were like, "Oh, man, look at that fancy guy." Almost
yeah,
anybody can get their hands on a pistol optic if you want one, and damn, there's so many pistols that just come with an optic on it already.
right.
I mean, pistol
And
optics are more plentiful than they were years ago, and I feel like you said, there's not enough shooting with the pistol to where that should be a different class. I feel like you should just stick to what the rifle is:
yeah,
magnified, red dot, heavy, light, or irons. Done. That's it.
yeah, there is the idea of caliber being, 308 I don't think is ever really going to be a thing at this
No.
match. And I just don't think that like even 3-gun heavy really isn't, and that's where it was kind of always the biggest division, is really ever going to be a thing. So like light 5.56, 5.45,
Yeah.
and then 7.62 by 39 in a potentially different division. But you also need to get the division count down a little bit. So you can't have like magnified light, magnified heavy. Like it just doubles a lot of it. It's excuse me. It's definitely a difficult area to balance.
Yeah.
And then I think that there was an open division that they also talked about. Nobody signed up for that for this one. So I think kind of that's still kind of up in the air for it. If you're going to show up with a $7,000 Nighthawk pistol, cool. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate, shooting against you. But I don't think having this division where it's like, you still have probably a SRO on that
Yeah.
against my, Beretta, which has we're still in the same division. That it doesn't really solve what I think some people were
Trying to
giving
buy. You talking about
giving
buying
feedback
skill?
about.
Oh,
Not so much buying skill. If this is your fifth match and you're or not your fifth match, but if you've been shooting matches for a couple of years and you're winning some of your locals and you come here and then it's all the perception. That's
yeah.
really what it is.
The one
It
thing,
doesn't actually mean anything. It's just how people perceive what other people are shooting.
yeah, the one thing that we didn't bring up about KCON, because this wasn't 100% true for the summer, but it was 100% here in the winter, and I hope it's the same this summer. All steel targets, no pasting.
Yeah.
Which,
If there was pasting,
damn, that was awesome.
this would have been.
You can't
I
paste
think
when it's that cold, though.
No, and I think your day match would have turned into a night match, and your night match would have turned into an early morning match.
Yeah. The amount of time that goes into pasting is not really thought of, but it adds up very quickly. And the fact that everything is steel is nice because, for one, there's no paste. Okay, when you hit it, you heard when you hit it, it either fell down, you heard it, it moved, you saw something. Whereas paper, you have to walk out and basically investigate each paper target. I mean, last year there was only one stage with paper. I get that. And I feel like if they can just keep going all steel, I love it. And that just makes me hate going to local competitions even more when there's paper, because I'm like, oh, we didn't have to do this at KCON. Good God.
I personally like some of the pasting because you don't have that immediateness of calling your hits or not. So
Yeah.
you have to kind of work within your own optic and skills, which is, where did I break that shot? Was my dot on the target where I needed it to be?
Right.
So sometimes you don't necessarily get that immediate feedback. I like shooting steel. I think shooting steel is fun.
I love it. It's
not the end of the world. I just hate pasting.
I hate pasting, but I am a member
really
of the
what it comes
local
down to.
pasters union, so I still paste with my brothers. Paul, we're at a minute 53, and I have to share my Waffle House story with you, and then I think we can get out of here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's end with a Waffle House here.
So Jeff and I traveling back through Missouri, and on the way there, we were making jokes. That'd be cool if there was a Waffle House. We didn't see one. Obviously, we weren't looking at the signs well enough. We're driving. We see a sign. I go, Jeff, did that sign just say Waffle House? And he's like, no way. And I'm like, dude, hurry up. Look, he whips his phone out. Before he can even pull up Google, the exit's coming. I'm like, I'm taking it. I'm taking the exit. Worst case, we get back on the highway. We get off on this exit. There's a sign, Waffle House, 1 mile to the left. I was like, dude, there's a Waffle House. Let's go. We're hungry. It's late. We pull up to this Waffle House. I don't remember what time it was by the time we got there. I don't know, 7, 8-ish. Like there's nobody in there. We don't see anybody in there. I mean, Waffle House is covered with windows. You can see inside. Nobody's in there except for like 2 people that look like they might work there. And I'm like, is this place even open? And Jeff's like, I think so. And all we see is this homeless looking guy standing outside with his hands in his pockets, freezing because it's so windy and cold. And he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And he's got like 3 inches of ash hanging off this thing. And he's just smoking like handless, just. And I'm like, whoa, look at that dude. He's just probably just trying to get the heat that's creeping out the front door at Waffle House, you know, while he's enjoying this cigarette. And I was like, well, Jeff, let's go. We get out the truck. We start walking up to the front door. We get about 10 feet from this front door. This homeless man spits his cigarette out, takes his hand out his pocket, opens the front door. Come on in, guys. It's warm in here. I stop. I look at the guy for a second. I look at Jeff and I go, I bet that's the cook. And then he just said, no. And then the dude, not homeless apparently, walks in, takes his coat off, hangs it up, goes, washes his hands, puts his gloves on. And then this lady who must have been something in 78, maybe 79, comes up to us. And she's got like the darkest blue eyeshadow, the brightest reddest lipstick, and her face looks like a, catcher's mitt. And she's just like, what can I get you fellas? And I was like, oh, I love this place.
Did you get so what did you end up ordering?
I had like a bacon, egg, and cheese, like BLT-ish sandwich. It was basically BLT with egg on it. And then I got, of course, I got a waffle and some hash browns. And
you got to get a waffle at the Waffle House.
A Dr. Pepper, I think, or a Coke.
Ooh, the DP.
I can't remember. If it was a Dr. Pepper, I for sure got the Dr. Pepper. But if not, I went for the Coke. I think Jeff just got a waffle, a pecan waffle, to be exact.
Oh.
He doesn't like eggs. He got hash browns, and I can't remember what else. But
how'd you get your hash browns? Smothered, covered, chunked?
I just do crispy. Just give them to me crispy. I put a little salt and pepper on there, minimal ketchup, and some hot sauce.
Hell yeah!
And
so that's going to be for all future K-Cons if you're traveling.
Oh, we already saved
on
it in
I-70
on my Google Maps.
There is a
there's a Waffle House. And
Waffle House. So we'll do that. We'll make that the post-match meetup.
Dude,
spot.
It is. I'm telling you, that's the post and the pre.
Because that's my exit to start heading up towards like Cedar Rapids.
Nice. Yeah, hopefully that guy still works there, and you can be like, "Oh, watch out! There's a homeless man." I'll go, "Oh no."
What's he gonna do? Go work at Applebee's?
Applebee's. I forget how they say it.
Applebee's.
Yeah. No, he's not getting a job at Applebee's. He is 100% Waffle House material, and he made a delicious sandwich.
Chef.
He's a cook. There's a huge difference between a chef and a cook.
No, he's a chef.
He was a cook.
I want them to remake The Bear, but it's just at a Waffle House. Because then I'd believe it. Because on The Bear, the TV show, this little lady stabs a guy. Bull fucking shit. That only happens at a Waffle House.
Yeah, this guy looks like he might have stabbed a few people while he was having a hard time. But
they won't hire you unless you have a felony.
Yeah, it was one for the ages. I wish I would have took my GoPro in there.
We'll do the post-match pod from the Waffle House.
Dude, I'm saying that, all right, next year. Or actually,
we're making it happen.
In May. But we're hitting the 2-hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit the little button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me and Paul. And that goes for Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. Please subscribe. Appreciate it. Share it with your friends. And keep on listening and keep on enjoying it, because me and Paul are getting out of here. And we love you. So we'll see you on the next one.
Good work.
Bye-bye.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Shooter ready? Okay, on. Shooter ready. Stand by. Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. Shooter ready. Stand by.